My god. What a fucking twist. But also, fuck you, Blake. Lillian didn't deserve that. So, Lillian was always kind of a strange character. We only ever really saw one interaction between her and Hannah, prior to Hannah's visit to the neighboring town. Hannah spoke to Lillian about it, and Lillian was one of those wacko conspiracy theory nerds, wild hair, offensive sense of fashion, glasses and all. Going on and on about corpo agents with mind-control devices, hideous monsters created in underground labs, human experiment camps running all sorts of demented tests on their victims. She was definitely lined up to be our wacky comic relief character, injecting a bit of self-aware meta-humor into our dark and twisted cosmic horror story. But then, to kill her off in such a messy and traumatizing fashion, what a statement to make, Mr. Valentine. I see you're not fucking around with this one. What if I were someone less fortunate? This question ran through my mind as I hid the shakiness of my voice, relaying my personal details to this receptionist at the Swan, a bougie local hotel within walking distance of the Toronto University campus. I handed my debit card over to the counter, and the receptionist swiped it and waited for the chime of approval. What if I were someone who just couldn't afford to stay in a hotel room for the next few days, possibly weeks? What then? Are there any kind of public services for that or something? The receptionist smiled and nodded as she handing back 2 cards, one debit and one handed, I guess would be the word. Or would I be out in the snow right now, if not for my father's fortune, after having lost one of my only real friends? That'd be insane. So it's not true, right? I'd be given somewhere to stay while the investigation's ongoing, right? Listlessly, I walked down the hall to the elevators, the dark, moody lighting not helping matters in my head. But as I watched the elevator doors yawn open before me, that sense of dread again gripped my chest tightly, and again I smelled iron in the air. I covered my mouth, not wanting to hurl in the hotel lobby, and instead opted to take the stairs. The hotel room was an exercise in excess, to say the least. I hardly even paid attention to the details as I booked the room, but I saw now the colossal bed dominating the room's center. Possessive, and an entire wall that was just one huge window overlooking the Toronto skyline, the city lights glittering in the dark like the stars they hid. It doesn't belong here. Or at least that doesn't make sense the way it was raised. Drifting flakes of snow stuck to the windows, melted and were replaced just as easily. Next to the bed was a bucket of ice and a bottle of champagne ensconced inside of it, and at the sight of this I laughed. The walls were thick, my privacy assured, so I laughed louder and louder, laughed until my voice grew hoarse and the tears were again falling. Through my blurred, tear-soaked vision, I looked at the champagne bottles, its pretentious French-Canadian vintage reading like mocking eulogy. I twisted the cork off and downed a mouthful of it, and it tasted really good. So wonderfully sweet and gentle on the throat, the fizz offering a delightful texture that complicated its aromatic flavors. I laughed again as I took another swig, staring at a painting of an idyllic countryside cottage underneath a perfect blue sky. I laughed again as I took another swig. I laughed until my throat burned, both from the champagne and from the hoarseness. Laughed, drank, laughed some more, drank, until my laughs turned to sputtering, choking sobs. She was the only one who would ever listen to me complaining. God, and how stupid my complaints were, bitching about being the heiress to a huge, successful Japanese gambling conglomerate, and she would just listen, nod, pretend to understand, and then launch into some absurd rant about how corpos are destroying the world and that I needed to break the cycle, as if I could making everything right again. Could make everything right again? All on my own? She really believed that, didn't she? The champagne bottle emptied. I loosened my grasp lazily and watched it roll across the floor, stopping with a quiet clink against the window wall. In those snowflakes is the world where Lillian yet lives, and it melts against the glass as so many others. Go back to glass. Wait! God damn it, where the hell did the time go? And after I said I needed to head out earlier, too. Just as before, that girl was long gone by the time I snapped back into reality. Is she real or a phantom? She's probably disappointingly real. Knowing I have little time to waste, I leave beneath a crimson moon on the table, heft my backpack over my shoulder, and make a mad dash toward the first of my evening classes. Time for my one evening class, but boy is it a doozy. Analytical statistics. But you just said a moment ago you have evening classes. Maybe on other days he has different evening classes. It's essentially another extension of mathematics, but most of the time we use programs for our calculations, so we only need to understand the concepts. Plus, the outputs are cool-looking graphs contextualized with qualitative data, so the dopamine hit for getting things right is much greater. That being said, the tension in this classroom's air could be cut with a knife. The first exam for this class is this coming Thursday, so it makes sense why everyone's so on edge. So I'm guessing today's class will be mostly dedicated to review. I sit in my assigned seat before fishing all the necessary materials out of my backpack, textbook, notebook, calculator, and so on. But just when I begin to settle in... Is it Natsuki? Yo, pissed, comes a hushed whisper from behind me. I turn around to see where it's coming from. No, it's someone else. And my gaze meets a boy with messy brown hair and brown eyes. His blue ear piercings match his blue hoodie, both of which are in violation of the dress code. Hey! Hey! Hey? You're the kid from English class, right? I'm in an English class, yes. Dude, you totally crushed it yesterday. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You've got to be from America or Britain, right? Sorry. Who are you? Ouch. I'm Izumi. I'm your classmate in English. And apparently, stats as well. Hi, Izumi. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. Yo, Teach just showed up. But once class is over, I'm totally swiping your digits. I got it? Yeah, got it. I don't know. This guy's got way too much energy for me, but I can't just say no to him either. The teacher, a frumpy old woman with huge round glasses, arranges her papers on the podium before pulling out a remote and switching on the projector hanging from the ceiling. That's not the only thing high-tech about this classroom. Every seat is a workstation with its own PC and monitor, except it requires a password. Also, my god, that flickering is obnoxious. The teacher looks at me for a moment, checks her papers, and then speaks.
Hallie, why aren't you logged into your workstation?
I didn't... Hallie just transferred her yesterday, Kashiwagi-sensei. This is his first time attending this class.
Oh, I see. In the future, Hallie, please email IT for a password that you'll be using to log in for this class. We use various programs, so you'll need one in order to follow along with the lecture and activities. Unfortunately, today is just review for the exam.
Yes, Kashiwagi-sensei. Thank you, sensei. The teacher gives a grunt of acknowledgement as I turn around and nod gratefully at Izumi. He smiles sweetly in response. Well, seems that's about all the in-class review time I'm getting before the exam. It's to be performed on the computers, but it's all conceptual, meaning I don't have to mess with programs just yet. Still, that's something I'm gonna have to do on my own time, I guess. Within short order, I pack up my things and head out the classroom door. Thank God, that flickering. Should I just forget that Izumi wanted my number and dip out now, or should I wait up for him? Oh, he helped you, man. Just wait. Yeah, I really shouldn't just blow him off like that. That'd be a really shitty thing to do. My course of action thusly decided, I lean against the wall and watch the suffocating crowd flood the hall like molasses through the Boston streets. I then spot the unmistakable deep blue color of Izumi's hoodie peeking through the shifting ooze of gray. His look of confusion and mild panic quickly returns to jubilation upon noticing me. You waited for me. Why is he panting and sweating like he just ran a marathon? You okay, Izumi? Yeah, I'm good. Just had to squeeze through a few folks to get to you. Got my pen and paper ready, though. Just hit me with the digits. True to his word, he holds up a pen and a small notepad. I relay my number to Izumi as quietly as the chaotic whirl of voices allows, really not wanting to make it public knowledge. Izumi nods and jots down each number with the speed, and he was writing, man. Shut up. The speed and enthusiasm of a sugar-addled grade schooler, but in no time at all. Yeah, as you can. We're gonna leave you behind if you don't get hustling. Sorry, be right with ya. I'll shoot you a text later, okay? See you around, bro. And just like that, he's off like a bolt of lightning into the rolling waves. Figures a guy like Izumi would have lots of friends. Maybe, with any luck, I'll be added to that list. My final class of the day on Tuesdays and Thursdays is art. Not art history. In other words, this is your other evening class, or art appreciation. This class will have me place actual brushes against actual canvases, or actual pencil against actual paper, whatever. I don't have an artistic bone in my body. At least I don't think so. But it sounded fun to me anyway. I relate, man. I'm terrible at art. I only do it because I want to, not because I'm good at it. Maybe I'll actually learn something new. As soon as I enter the room, a gentleman in his late middle ages, with glasses, long hair, and scraggly stubble, suddenly accosts me.
Welcome! You must be Halley, yes?
He puts his hands on my shoulders, looking me up and down with a manic smile on his face, his mannerisms suggesting a childish glee I'd never guessed from his appearance. Yes, that's right. And you would be Sasaki-sensei?
Yes. But please, just call me Yoshi.
The other students, already setting themselves up and their canvases, don't seem fazed by Sasaki-sensei's excitement.
Let me tell you, Halley, from looking at you, I already know you are an artist. His eyes, you see, deep and full of heart. I know my moves, those eyes are going to bring a fresh perspective to my class. Now, let's begin.
Can't fault him for a lack of enthusiasm. Sasaki-sensei set up a still life arrangement in the center of the room, and each canvas was placed surrounding it so that everyone has a different perspective. We were commanded to sketch what we saw, never moving from our position. Line work and shading both done with nothing but number 2 pencils. I stand by what I said before. I am in no way in hell an artist, but Sasaki-sensei was nonetheless very supportive of myself and the others. He commented that technical skill can be learned with exhaustive practice. He simply wanted to see if we had the soul for art, whatever the fuck that means. Sometimes technical skill can still not even be learned through exhaustive practice. The bell sounds before I'm even close to finishing my piece. There's still shading to be done, not to mention line work for the grapes and the squash. I peer about at my classmates. None of them seem distressed. Did they all simply finish their pieces faster than me?
The first thing will make is bring your select knowledge. That's about all there is to say. Now, have an enjoy the rest of your day.
Ah, okay. That's a relief. Well, bye. And so we leave. When I retrieve my sneakers from my locker, I notice they still haven't fully dried yet from this morning. Lovely. Well, I mean, I stuck them in a locker all day. They're not going to get aired out. But they're on top of the lockers. I spot my umbrella in the stand easily, standing out with its funeral. I appreciate that they slowed the text box down for that, but it's never quite slow enough. Standing out with its funeral black coloring. But as I approach the retreat, now here's what I would do, especially for like a long box like this. I'd have this part play out like normal, and then it stops here, and then when the player clicks, there's this part that scrolls out slowly. But as I approach the retreat, because they do this a lot in this mod, and I think. Like, whenever you're going to have auto-editing text boxes, the shorter the sentences ending on, the better. That's kind of a good rule of thumb, apart from not having auto-editing text boxes or slowing the text down. I feel my phone tremble in my pocket, its text tone crying out for immediate attention. Tired of your penis not measuring up? Is your lady friend's cervix still disappointingly intact? Dr. Kasai, certified penis surgeon. Call today for your free cock inspection. Just type in hyperlink blocked. Fucking spam texts. My umbrella, my one and only bulwark against the falling clouds. Be my shield once more, and let not this tacky placer suffer the heavens' defilement. The crowd, once funneled through the front doors, once again splits off into their own friend groups, couples, and popular kids surrounded by throngs of tittering sycophants. I peer about, trying to spot any familiar faces in the human deluge, but every single figure is as indistinct as the last. An obscene saraband to a cacophony of meaningless noise. It's teaching me words. I don't know what this is. Were both my hands free, I might use them to cover my ears. No sign of that Natsuki girl either. I got to thinking about where I'd seen that loud head of pink hair before and realized I had seen her walking ahead of me yesterday. Did my best to avoid her, of course, but that hair is unmistakable. I wonder if right now she's ahead of me or behind me. Then it hits me. You need to be part of a club at this school. It's entirely possible she's at hers right now. Pretty pointless to speculate about someone I barely know, but also, wow, why would they have their club that late in the evening? Like, you had 2 evening classes and they're still going to club? Those cupcakes she made were pretty damn good, and I even got to take some home with me. I don't know, the timeline's just a little weird to me in this month. It's just a little weird. As I walk the crisscrossing residential streets, a thought hits me. I don't want to go home just yet, so I take a different turn, towards the direction of Sarabatu City's downtown area. Wretched weather for a walk, admittedly, but it's not like it's getting any better anytime soon. Absent-mindedly, I wander the downtown streets, umbrella over my head, taking in the sights and sounds. The towering gray skyscrapers of the big city are often compared to giant gravestones, to the point of cliché, if we're being totally honest. But when's the last time I've seen gravestones blasted with bright signs, neon lights, proud proclamations of a band's superiority, and blasting energetic pop music? Heh, I think that's how I'd want my grave to look. Here lies Hallie. 9 out of 10 doctors would recommend not dying in such a lame fashion. Jumyo no Izoka, a daily vitamin D supplement. What? Whether it's here or where I lived before, I've always loved the downtown. Even if you're not here to spend any money, there's just so much to look at, so much to listen to. I cannot relate. And the people, goddamn, how cool are they? Oh, they're not cool. Even though I'm wandering the downtown streets in my school uniform, all the adults here don't even spare me a second glance. The salarymen walk like flocks of emperor penguins in their black suits and solid-color ties, each carrying a briefcase filled with who knows what. They emerge from and disappear into ramen joints, bars, clubs, karaoke, and pachinko parlors, all in varying states of inebriation. The younger folk, high school seniors or college students, if I had to guess, parade about in expressive fashion, in their billowy sundresses and faux leather jackets. These people, they have so much on their minds, have so much going on in their lives, that some dumb kid in his school uniform doesn't even register to them. And that is so incredibly freeing, I think. I wish I could be them, but at the very least I can be around them. Pretend for a fleeting moment that I belong in this world of people in constant, breathtakingly beautiful motion. You need a hobby, dude. As I walk, I come across a hole in the wall that glows with an inviting warm light. The chalkboard sign tells me it's called the Cafe Mangetsu. I look through the windows, briefly mind as I don't want to look like a stalker, and see there's only a couple of patrons currently occupying. I still have some money on me. Fuck it, I'll treat myself. After taking shelter underneath the awning and closing my umbrella, I take hold of the handle in front of me, push down the locking mechanism, and gently open the door.